Yeah, so he was, I would say, on one yesterday on Truth Social.
Ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true
So,
and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
I know very little. You told me, but what you tell me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they're burning down cities run by Democrats, not run by Republicans.
Senator, that was 1 month before the 2020 election, refusing to denounce QAnon. Yesterday, the former president shared dozens of QAnon-inspired posts on his social media platform. It was his most direct show of support so far.
So my favorite part from when Trump was doing that interview where she was asking him to denounce QAnon is where he was like, well, I don't know. I really don't know. But what I do know about is Antifa and the radical left. I do know about that. But, I'm not so sure about QAnon. I've never quite seen them. I'm not too familiar about the activities that they do. I'm not too aware of how I fan the flames of racism and ignorance and hate in the country. But we know that Donald Trump is perfectly aware of what he does. Now, although he's a dumb guy, he is a crook and a con artist, and he's always sniveling his way out of trouble and away from the punishment of the law. So he at least knows enough to snivel his way out of trouble. So Donald Trump is fully aware of what's going on, and that's why he's reaching back out to them now, because the walls are closing in. Even though he's still, the 2024, runner for the Republican Party, he's still the most popular person within the party. The walls are closing in on him, so he's doing whatever he can.
He was, I would say, on one yesterday on Truth Social. He was he was aflame. There were 60 posts yesterday on Truth Social, which makes up a lot of what's going on there, frankly. It's very hard to find other content than Donald Trump's on there or Q content. But he retweeted many QAnon accounts, one of which posted a meme that said, the enemy is not in Russia, with the words, the enemy, over the eyes of Kamala Harris. And he posted something about the storm. And the storm in QAnon lore is the idea that one day Donald Trump, led by a secret military, is going to go and publicly execute people like Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, all these people viewed as the deep state for all of their crimes against children, which they believe are happening.
We all know that the Republican Party has been unpopular for quite some time. We know that their policy positions are very unpopular. We know that. However, the reversal of Roe v. Wade is easily one of the biggest political mistakes in modern political history. The Republican Party's future was already on thin ice, but making this move, and again, as I talk about the horror stories that pile up, they're just going to continue to bleed support, even from conservatives, because they're just totally into that extreme realm, and they're going further and further into that. And their base is, kind of shrinking into a smaller ball, but that ball is fierce. And that small ball of their base is very animated and very coordinated, which is why I always say that we have to be more coordinated and even more organized. But it was just such a bad move on their part, because unless they move further to the left, their only option is to move even further to the right, which means that, if they want to be a hammer, we got to be a hammer too.
This is something he's trying to reactivate. QAnon was dying. QAnon was a thing that did not make sense anymore. Even with their own mythology, he was not the president. It was becoming clearer and clearer over time. But yesterday he retruthed a post on Truth Social that had Joe Biden holding a sign that said Donald Trump is still the president. So he is trying to reactivate these people, and it's working. On Q forums, the top response to that post was simply a post that said, "Wipe them out, sir."
Now, there's still quite some time from now until 2024, and with all of this stuff going on with Trump already right now, 2 years in political time is a very long time. So, it could be that he becomes even more popular within the base and doesn't really face much consequences for all the cases that are against him right now. But it also could very well be that he bleeds support a little bit and that he does have to face some repercussions. But, obviously we'll keep you posted, and all of y'all will keep your eyes glued to the news as well. But it's definitely interesting to see what's going to happen because Ron DeSantis, he's going to have to become the king of the party at some point. Could be sooner than we think.